Oromukumo, we're waiting for you. Almighty God, creator, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions so that we may always work in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thee grace to do only those things that will promote unity, peace, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God. Honorable colleagues, I have examined and approved the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 9th November 2023. Honorable colleagues, it's my pleasure and privilege to recognize the presence of some members of the Lagos State House of Assembly who are here to observe our plenary. You are most welcome. Please, a round of applause for them. Please sit down. The members that have just recognized or introduced are Honorable Desmond Elliott, Honorable Olijimo, Honorable Akinsanya, Honorable Okalawon, Honorable Kehinde Joseph. Those are the members from the Lagos State House of Assembly who are with us today. Announcements. Young Parliamentarians Forum of the National Assembly. This is to inform members of the IPU Young Parliamentarians Forum that election and inauguration of the 10th Assembly leadership of the forum has been scheduled as follows. Date, Wednesday, 15 November 2023. Venue, meeting room 034, House of Representatives, New Building. Time, 10 a.m. Honorable members of the National Assembly aged 45 and below are automatic members of the Young Parliamentarians Forum and are expected to be part of the election and inauguration of the forum. Signed, Clerk of the Forum, Announcer. Another announcement, honorable members, that this is to announce the presence of the following delegations of the Ghanaian Parliament Business Committee members in the gallery. This is to announce the presence of the following delegation of the Ghanaian Parliament Business Committee members: Honorable Lydia Siram Alasan, who is the first Deputy Majority Whip. We have Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, First Deputy Minority Whip. Honorable Habib Idrisu, Second Deputy Minority Whip. Honorable Joseph Kujo, Member. Honorable Josil Tete, member, Mrs. Patricia Oforua, will also answer, Assistant Clerk, and Mrs. Sarah Nyaunu, Assistant Director. They are here with us, and without any waste of time, I'll call on the leader to please move that we suspend our rules to admit these August visitors in November.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihanvere, OON DSSRS, I rise to move that the House, pursuant to Order 21, Rule 8, 1, 11 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, do admit into the chamber members of the Ghanaian Parliament for the purpose of observing the proceedings of plenary. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda, I represent Toby Abofera constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from River State. I rise to second the motion that we do suspend all relevant rules of the House to admit our colleagues from the Ghanaian Parliament into the chambers of the House. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Leader. Any new member who has not been sworn in may please come forward for the administration of the oath.
Please repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Oath of a member, House of Representatives. I do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as a member of the House of Representatives, I will perform my functions honestly to the best of my ability, faithfully in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and the rules of the House, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That I will strive to preserve the fundamental objectives and directive principles of the state policy contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will abide by the Code of Conduct contained in the 5th Schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
Members, anyone with petition may rise to do so. Petitions, Honorable Victor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, Victor Afamu Ogene. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I'm from Anambra State, Obaru Federal Constituency. I rise this morning to present a petition from citizen Alpha Onum against the Nigerian Customs Service. Mr. Speaker, this matter has been treated by the 9th Assembly, but the Customs Service is here to reinstate citizen Alpha Onum, and so he has run back to this House seeking succor. Mr. Speaker, the second petition is a petition by Odachi family of Umusadege, Kwale, against Midwestern Oil and Gas Limited, and they are demanding for compliance with Local Content Act 2010, rent and remuneration for the extensive use of Odachi family land. The last petition, Mr. Speaker, is a petition for unfair treatment in matters of promotion by management of Bank of Agriculture against Raymond Asada. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, with the kind leave of Mr. Speaker, I wish to lay these petitions.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any more petitions? Honorable Ize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Ian Zazao. Most respected colleagues, Eze Nwachukwu Eze is my name. I represent the good people of Ebonyi, Ohuku Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ebonyi State. This is a petition from A Vice Marshal John Adeni Kayode, retired. It's against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Mr. Speaker, the retired Air Vice Marshal, a very senior citizen of this country, who has served for 65 good years in service and 36 good years in service and retired. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, his petition is that the EFCC is holding the wholesome amount of 10 million naira.
Honorable colleagues, silence please.
A large sum of 10 million naira, despite court judgment mandating the EFCC to release his money to him for more than 3 years. EFCC have withheld this money without any reason. The petitioner is praying the House as the voice of the voiceless to quickly and kindly do the needful by mandating EFCC to release his money. Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House to lay the petition. Thank you.
Please go ahead. Yes, Prof. The leader.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere, OON, DSSRS, Owan Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one of my constituents, Mr. Dogo Isaac Imoje of EAA quarters in Zeba, Ulea, Ogun State, against the Nigeria Immigration Service for wrongful dismissal without cause, having worked from 1989 to 2018. Is asking for justice and for the revisit of the action meted out on him. I seek the permission of the House under your able leadership to lay this petition, Mr. Speaker.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Mudashiru Lukman, representing the good people of Iwo Ayedire Olaoluwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from my constituents that was directed to you, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, against the Nigeria Police Force from one Isiki Lukande, which was unlawful dismissal from Nigeria Police Force. His prayer, sir. That he should be restated back to the Nigeria Police. Can I seek the leave of the Mr. Speaker and the House to lay this petition? Thank you, sir.
Please go ahead. AVM.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Air Vice Marshal Adeni Ojuawo, retired, and I represent the good people of Ekiti South Federal Constituency 1. I'm from Ekiti State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have two petitions here this morning, but they are similar, and they are written by the same and one person, Mr. George Alede Esquire, a good citizen of this country. One of the petitions is on fraudulent conversion of 50 million naira in the Court of Appeal by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the Court, and the other one is fraudulent conversion of 29 million naira by one Mr. Meibi Biribena, CEO of Barasa Co. Company Limited. Sir, they are both seeking, the petitioner are both seeking for intervention of the House to give them a redress as to the problem they are having with the petitioner. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I seek your leave and the leave of the House to lay this petition before the House? Thank you very much, sir.
Please go ahead. All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petition. Oh. Okay, go ahead, since I have not hit the gavel.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, My name's Barrister Jesse Okejo Onwa Carlos. I represent Nigeria, especially the people of Oshodu Solo, Federal Constituency 2, the habit of Lagos. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, I have two petitions here addressed to the Honorable Speaker of this hallowed chamber against unlawful detention of a 17-year-old girl who have been in the custody of National Agency for Prohibition of Traffic in Persons facilities in the last 6 months. The other one is from the Center of Democracy and Human Rights against the failure of Stan Oye, who severed the services of the employee and refused to pay him after working for 17 years. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Guy and
colleagues,
TJ, please go back to your seat. TJ, go back to your seat, please.
Mr. Speaker and distinguished
Honorable
colleagues,
TJ.
with the leave of the Speaker, can I humbly lay this petition before the House?
Please go ahead. Honorable colleagues, all petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Before we go to the next item, which is matters of urgent importance, please permit me to make some announcements, which I was supposed to make earlier on, but couldn't do because the papers were mixed up. And the first one is from Honorable Chief Emmanuel Uguru, member representing Abakaliki/Easy Federal Constituency, and the message reads as follows. Notification of death of our late mother, Izunya Lydia Oguru Nwanyi Uguru, and the condolence message. Your Excellency, in total submission to the will of God, we, the family of late Chief Uguru Nguga of Amegu, Onisha Village, in Abakaliki local government of Ebonyi State, wish to notify you of the glorious demise of our wife, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, auntie, niece, cousin, and sister, late Madam Iduzinya Lydia Uguri, Nwanyi Uguru, popularly known as Ada Amegu Ikenyi, whose sad event took place on Friday, 9 June 2023, at about the age of 101. Until our glorious exit, our mother was a devout Christian, a humble and hospitable personality par excellence, a successful housewife, and a good friend.
Honorable colleagues, Governor.
Obobo, as Inene was fondly called, was a woman of substance. The family of Uguru, Nguga, Nwogu, Imo, and Igwe Aleki, in liaison with the Presbytery of the Assembly of God Church, Abakaliki District, has fixed the burial as follows. Thursday, 4th January 2024, 6 p.m. service of song and wake-keeping. Friday, 5th January 2024, 10 a.m. interment. Saturday, 6th January 2024, condolences at Honorable Chief Emmanuel Uguru's compound in Amegu, Onisha, Abakaliki local government. Sunday, 7th January 2024, 10 a.m. Thanksgiving service at Assemblies of God Church, Amegu, Onitsha. Your Excellency, it will be highly appreciated if you create time for your crowded schedules to be with us during the burial periods, especially on the interment day, 15 January 2024. We also expect that your condolence reach us on or before 30 November 2023 via email. Signed, Honorable Chief Emmanuel Unguru JP, Member, House of Reps, representing Abakaliki/Easy Federal Constituency of Ebonyi State. The other announcement is coming from Honorable Dr. Patrick Umo, Chairman, House Committee on Legislative Agenda. And the message reads as follows. Members of the House of Representatives are invited to the Thanksgiving Mass in honor of Honorable Dr. Patrick Umo on Friday, 17th November 2023, venue St. Anne Cathedral, Ifuho, Ikot, Ipene, time 11 a.m. prompt. So, honorable colleagues, shall we rise for a minute silence in honor of this great lady? May her soul rest in peace. We are on matters of urgent public importance. It's my pleasure to recognize Honorable Kama Ikemkana to please move his motion. Honorable Kama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Kama is my name. I represent the awesome people of Ohozara, Onitsha, and Ibu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I pray and urge the House to I come under Order 8 Rule 4 to seek the leave of this House to suspend every relevant rules to allow me to take this motion of importance. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, any seconder to the first leg of the motion? The chairman of the young parliamentarians, Akala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Olamijuwonlo Ayodeji Alao Akala, representing Nigerians from Ogbomoso North, South, Orire Federal Constituency of Oyo State. I hereby rise this morning to second the second leg of the motion as raised by my honorable colleague. The first leg of the motion as raised by my honorable colleague, Honorable Kama. I so move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so
Those
second.
in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, who will second? Honorable Lidu? Did I see Lidu there? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, I am Right Honorable Engineer Idu Emeka G. I represent Onitsha North and Onitsha South Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my respected colleague, Honorable Kama. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Kama O Kama.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Kama, please lead the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. An urgent call for inquiry into the circumstances surrounding the cancellation of visas of 264 passengers aboard Air Peace from Nigeria on arrival at Saudi Arabia. The House. This motion is moved by Honorable Kama and Kem Kama, Honorable Olumide Oshoba, Honorable Maki Yelman, Honorable Tolu Lokpe, Akonde Shadikwe. The House informed that Saudi Arabia authorities canceled the visas of all the 264 passengers airlifted by Nigerian major carrier Air Peace on arrival at Jeddah in Saudi Arabia from Malam Aminu Kano International Airport on 13 November 2023. Aware that all the passengers went through the Advanced Passengers Pre-Screening System, APPS, which was also monitored live by the Saudi Arabia authorities before the flight left Nigeria. Worried that, according to sources at the Nigerian embassy in Jeddah, even the Saudi immigration personnel could not locate who authorized the cancellation of the visas, even when the APPS, which was live between both countries, was concluded and the airline was already airborne to Jeddah. The House knows that upon the intervention of the Nigerian embassy in Saudi, the authorities were said to have reduced the number of passengers that would be returned back to Nigeria from 264 to 170. The House are aware also that Saudi Air has been operating directly from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia, and that Air Peace has been receiving high patronage as a Nigerian carrier since it started flight service to the Saudi at relatively lower fares, thereby helping Nigeria to conserve foreign exchange. They have disturbed that stakeholders in the sector have attributed the development to aeropolitics, stating it could be a way to force the Nigerian operator out of the route and raise concerns that Nigerian carriers could actually be forced out of the route unless the government intervenes, probably using the principle of reciprocity. The House, conscious of the fact that this action of Saudi authorities is an infringement on the letters and intendment of the bilateral air service.
Honorable colleagues, please maintain
Basa.
peace, please.
Honorable Oke,
Maintain silence.
please find your seat, please.
Between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, which is still in force. The House, deeply worried that the unfortunate event and diplomatic slight on Nigeria happened even when the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was there. His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is on a state visit to Saudi Arabia. The House thereby resolved to condemn the embarrassing act of the cancellation of visas of 264 Nigerian arrivals at Saudi Arabia by the country's authorities on Monday, 13 November 2023. The House urged the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to, as a matter of urgency, take such diplomatic steps as may be necessary to protect the image of the nation, ensure the full implementation of the BASA, protect Nigerian national carriers flying into Saudi Arabia, and as well protect the Nigerian traveling public. And the House also mandated the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Interior and Pilgrim Affairs to inquire into the immediate and remote circumstances surrounding this cancellation of already granted visas to 264 Nigerian on arrival at Jeddah aboard the Air Peace, and to report back within 2 weeks. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Oshoba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Olumide Oshoba, representing Abeokuta North, Obafemi and Odeda Federal Constituency. I rise to second this motion, ably moved by Honorable Kama. I so move.
Before I put the question, any comments, any amendments, any further clarification on this motion? Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, distinguished colleagues. Well, my name is Olaniwaju Oshun. I represent the wonderful people of Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, sir, in as much as we are here to fight for our people, fight for the nation, and fight for the integrity of the nation, I want to suggest, before we go on this motion, that maybe we should set up a committee to investigate why the visas were actually cancelled. Mr. Speaker, I have it on authority that the visas cancelled were business visas for a year. And what we've done is some people have been given visa as, we have people who are 90-year-old, 95-year-old, we have 14, 13-year-old given business visa for 1 year. So that's why one of the reasons why some of the visas were cancelled. Mr. Speaker, I want us to set up a committee to look into this instead of just having an holistic decision on it. Let's investigate why the visas were cancelled. And
that is what he has prayed for, to investigate. He is not saying that is the final conclusion that they are guilty of what they did. So I think he said to inquire, to mandate some committees to inquire. So I think it is in order. So please, I think without any waste of time, we can just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. I will put the question. I think this is an innocent motion, honorable colleagues. It's a very innocent motion. There is no need for us to really overheat the system. It's very innocent. I will put the question again. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. Aye. The ayes have it. It's my pleasure to recognize Honorable Mudashiru Lukman Alani. Honorable Alani, please.
Honorable
Can you move
colleagues,
your
please.
motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ja, Honorable Ja. Honorable Ja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, my name is Mudashiru Lukman Alani, representing the good people of Iwo Ayediriola Oluwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I
Order,
rise this
please.
morning to move a motion on the matter of urgent public importance.
Honorable Jega,
Mr. Speaker,
please.
My distinguished colleague, I want to
Honorable
seek your
Eze, please
indulgence
take your
to
seat.
suspend all the rules of the House for me to move this motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder to the first leg? Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Dr. Adebayo Adepoju, representing Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North, Federal Constituency of the Payseta State. Mr. Speaker, I am from Oyo State. I rise this morning to second the motion for us to suspend all relevant rules so that my honorable colleague here can go ahead and raise this matter of urgent public importance. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Any seconder to the second leg? Yes, Honorable. What is the nickname? The Rock. House, please, take note. Oh. That name should be the one that you should be addressed all the time. The Rock. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name's Honorable Peter Anekwe, represent the good and hardworking people of Anambra East and West. Mr. Speaker, I am from Anambra State. I rise this morning to second the second leg of the motion that the matter is urgent enough for the House to hear. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues. I rise this morning to move a motion on the call on the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Nigeria's in Diaspora Commission to follow up on the investigation of the death of Nigeria medical student, Mr. Chibuikem Emmanuel in Philippines. The House notes that there has been a serious concern and recurring discrimination, maltreatment, and vulnerability being faced by Nigerians in diaspora, as every citizen deserves a right to life, safety, and protection in their respective host country. The House is aware that on the 19th October 2023, Mr. Chibuikem Emmanuel, a 29-year-old Nigerian citizen from Inewi in Anambra State, was tortured and killed by Chinese national in Philippines. Mr. Emmanuel was pursuing his master's degree in medicine and surgery in a university in Philippines. I was also aware that it was alleged that Mr. Chibuikem Emmanuel met his untimely death in Madue City, Philippines, where he had gone to demand the payment of a commission due to his girlfriend, Ms. Diani, from the company she worked with. The matter escalated into heated argument among Mr. Emmanuel and his girlfriend, Ms. Diani, and the head of the company, a Chinese woman named Ms. Jenny Wa, offered the said commission. Further aware that following the altercation, two vehicles arrived at the premises, and the occupant of the vehicle claimed they were taking Mr. Chibuikem Emmanuel to the police station for constituting nuisance. The House also cognizant that it was later discovered that Mr. Emmanuel's girlfriend and his friend that Mr. Chibuikem Emmanuel was not talking to the police station as claimed. It was alleged that a bus dropped Mr. Emmanuel off in front of the police station with his hand tied, visible injury on his face. Unfortunately, Mr. Emmanuel was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. I was also cognizant that the office of the Madrid City Police Station has officially filed a murder charge against 6 Chinese suspects. 4 of the suspects have been identified. All their information and pictures have been sent to the local airport. The House now resolved that we should mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Human Rights, and Diaspora to follow up this investigation of Mr. Chibuike Emmanuel in questionable circumstances in the Philippines and to report back the findings within 4 weeks to the House for the legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Yes, any comment before we put the question? So any seconder? Any seconder? Yes, Honorable, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Adefunraye Ayodele Festus. I represent the good people of Ileluji, Okegbo, and Odigbo Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion rightly moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora for further investigation. And I think I did not also refer the previous motion to the relevant committees based on the prayers earlier raised. Still the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Interior and Pilgrims Affairs to do further investigation on the first motion raised earlier on. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 25 bills. I now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Point of order, sir.
Yes, Honorable Abdul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Rahim Tunji Olawi. I represent the good people of Ekiti. It's in Repodo, Kero Federal Constituency. I'm from Kwara State. Honorable Speaker, I rise under Order 8, Rule 4, to suspend our rules to accommodate a motion of budget public importance.
Honorable Abdul, we are only taking 2. We have so many things today. Please forgive us. Tomorrow, we'll consider your matter.
As your lordship pleases.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk, please take note. His matter should be taken tomorrow. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Industrial Training Fund Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Companies and Allied Matters Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Animal Diseases Control Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. National Football Academy, Sunday Field, Abapa, Niki, Enugu State, Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Critical Infrastructure Protection Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Agriculture, Ningi Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Health Education Practitioner Board Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Cancer Research and Treatment Center, Calabar, Cross River State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal Cancer Research and Treatment Center, Abeokuta, Ogun State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian Paramilitary Academy, Akoko, Ondo State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian Civil Defense University, Akoko, Ondo State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Nigerian Institute of Chartered Foresters Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Senior Citizen Center Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Chartered Institute of Mortgage Bankers and Brokers of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. National Road Traffic Regulation Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Law Enforcement and Administration Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. River Basins Development Authorities Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal University of Technology, Asaba, Delta State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. Federal College of Health Sciences and Technology, Gumi, Zamfara State Establishment Bill 2023, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Act 1999, Alteration Bill 2023, first reading.
Honorable colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of reports of the ad hoc committee to investigate the failures in Nigeria's mass transit schemes, standing in the name of Honorable Alpha and Victor Ogeni. Honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 19 July 2023. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Ogeni is hereby invited to present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues. Victor Afamo Ogene, Obaru Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Anambra State. I rise this morning to move, and I so move, that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the failure in Nigeria's mass transit schemes. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Ambaruna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I'm Bel Isa Ambarura, member representing the good people of Ilela and Guadaba Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the seat of the Caliphate. Mr. Speaker, I rise up to second the motion. To present the report of the Committee on Failed Mass Transit Scheme in Nigeria, ably to be represented by my colleagues, Honorable Afan Victor Ogon. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Victor, please proceed to lay your report. The first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish Institute of Economists of Nigeria, empowered with responsibility to determine and regulate standard of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional economists in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader, honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 7th November 2023. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihanvere, Owa Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish Institute of Economists of Nigeria, empowered with responsibility to determine and regulate the standards of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional economists in Nigeria for related matters, HB 224, be read without time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Usman Bello Kumo is my name. I represent Akko Federal Constituency. I rise to humbly second the motion ably moved by the able leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Institute of Economists of Nigeria empowered with responsibility to determine and regulate the standards of knowledge, skills, and qualification of persons seeking to become professional economists in Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read for the third time and passed. The second order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, Item Bende, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters, standing in the names of Honorable Benjamin Okezekalu and 6 others. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 5th July 2023. I now invite Honorable Kalu to move that the bill be read for the second time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My fellow colleagues, I am Oluwole Oke, Obokun Oreade. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, I move and I so move that a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, ITEP, Bende, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Nolan.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Nolemu Naji. I'm from Enugu State, representing Kano East-West Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I rise to second the bill as moved by my colleague, Oluwaloke. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed with the debate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My fellow colleagues.
Honorable Kavilat, please, can you be attentive? Honorable Kavilat, are you hearing?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My fellow colleagues, 6 of us, under the leadership of Able Deputy Speaker, are co-sponsoring this bill. And Mr. Speaker, before coming to this floor to lead the bill for the second reading, we conducted extensive research with the support of National Assembly Institute of Legislative Studies. And Mr. Speaker, our findings is anchored, is detailed in a legislative digest, Mr. Speaker, that I have disseminated to members in order not to waste the time of the legislature. Mr. Speaker, the need for this institution is based on so many factors, and that comes under the needs assessment of this great proposed institution. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the population of Nigeria, over 220 million people, and the number of our children, younger brothers and sisters, who passed out secondary school, who are seeking for admission to study one course or the other in the health and medical sector, Mr. Speaker, both the public and the private existing universities, Mr. Speaker, cannot provide admission for these children. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we all are aware of the mass exodus of health sector professionals out of this country seeking greener pasture. Mr. Speaker, if we do not provide means to bake, to produce professionals in this sector, God forbid, one day we might be looking, we might also be importing health professionals from other countries. Mr. Speaker, we all know the importance of education, which is detailed in the legislative digest that I've shared. Mr. Speaker, the last administration, in their wisdom, also set up similar institutions. One was established in my zone at Ilaonogo. I'm aware of the one in Bauchi. I'm also aware of the one in Rotoroko. So, Mr. Speaker, also on equity and fairness basis, I want to urge my colleagues to please support this bill to see the light of the day for the second reading. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any contribution? Anyone either against or is in support or against? Carried. Anybody who is against this bill? All are in support. So I'll just put the question. Those in support that this bill be read the second time should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, Itembende, to make comprehensive provision for its due management and administration and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on University Education. The third order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish public accounts tribunal, who shall be responsible for the recovery of public funds or properties found by the public accounts committees of the National Assembly to have been misappropriated or due to the government of the Federation and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Oluwole Oke, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 12 July 2023. I now invite Honorable Oke to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, Oluwole Oke, Ijesha North. Mr. Speaker, please, I apply that this bill be stepped down for further legislative work on it, sir. I so apply. Thank you, sir.
Bill step down at the, on the leave of the House. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Nigerian Marine Corps to promote maritime security and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Alex Ebona. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 12 July 2023. I now invite Honorable Ebona to move that the bill be read the second time.
Honorable Alex Obona is not on the floor. I move that the bill be stepped down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leave step down. The bill is stepped down by the leave of the House. The fifth order of the day is a motion on incessant board mishaps in Aguara, Borgu Federal Constituency of Niger State, standing in the name of Honorable Jafar Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague, Jafar Mohammed Shetima Bargu is my name. I represent Borgu Aguara Federal Constituency. I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, note that on 5th of August and 2nd of October 2023, respectively, both mishap occurred in Ropia and Kasabu along the coast of River Niger in Aguara local government area of Niger State, resulting in the death of 38 people and leaving others missing. Mr. Speaker, also note that exactly a year after a similar tragedy in the Malale community, where a commercial herdsman boat capsized and left many dead in the water. Informed that most women and children drowned while traveling on the wooden boat in River Niger, in our local government area of Niger State, where locally made vessels are used for transport. Mr. Speaker also informed that most incidents are attributed to overloading amid the absence of good and accessible road in the affected areas. Condition of the vessels and the poor regulation of waterways largely contribute to the gravity of the menace. Mr. Speaker, worried that there are no provision for emergency exits in the vessel, and that the boat owner do not know the rules and regulations guiding their operations. Cognizant that if steps are taken to proffer lasting solution to the incessant occurrence of boat accidents on the waterways, residents in Agwara, Borgofra constituency of Niger State would continue to die permanently, prematurely. Mr. Speaker, resolve, all the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, to ensure the use of safety jacket, constant check on the condition of boats and other vessels, and the use of marshal at the riverine area to prevent overloading. Mr. Speaker, also urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to come to Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management and the National Emergency Management Agency to assist families affected by the recent accident, and mandate the Committee on Inland Waterways and Maritime Safety Education and Administration to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Aminu Jamu, are you properly dressed? Can you stand up? Let people see you. Are you properly dressed? Remove your cap. Okay, put it back. I think you are. You can sit down. Now, if you like, you can second. You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, sir, my honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Aminu Jamu Daura, representing Daura Sandamumi Adwa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kaduna State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I also second, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Amendment, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. So sorry, I didn't notice that there are amendments to the prayers. The seventh order of the day is a motion on dualization of Ijebu Ode. Or the sixth order of the day is a motion on dredging of water channels to connect Magaga, Sabangida, Amale, Water and Fada Dam in Gwarzo/Kabo constituency of Kano State, standing in the name of Honorable Abdullah Muaz Gwarzo. Honorable Gwarzo is hereby invited to move the motion. Honorable Gwarzo, is he around?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Abdullah Muaz Gwarzo from Kano State, representing Gwarzo Kabo Federal Constituency. I found this morning moved the motion on dredging of water channels to connect Magaga, Sabangida, and Amali, water and the Fada Dam in Gwarzo Kabo Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker, note that the Magaga, Sabangida, and Amali water and the Fada Dam in Kabo, Gwarzo Kabo Federal Constituency provide for over 7 million people, supporting domestic needs for water supply, for use irrigation and flood control in the areas. Also note that the dams are vital for supporting agricultural activities, food production and irrigation projects, mitigation food impact, and promoting economic growth in the region, while also safeguarding local communities and their properties. Confirm that the failing to construct water channel connecting Magaga, Sabangida Mala water, and the Fat Adam could negatively impact use in the constituency, whose belief is that the project will create more job opportunities. Recognize the commitment of the federal government of Nigeria to empower youth through the ongoing agricultural reforms. Mr. Speaker, Rob urged the Ministry of Water Resources to promptly initiate the construction and dredging of water channels to connect Magaga Sabangida Mala water and the Fat Adam of Cabo and the Gorzo Federal Constituency of Kano State. Also urge the Ministry of Water Resources to include the construction and dredging of water channels to connect Magaga Sabangida Amala water and the Fat Adam Federal Constituency of Kano State in the 2024 budget estimates. Mandate Committee on Water Resources to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable from Mashi.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Salisu Yusuf Majigiri. I represent Mashi Dusi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Katsina State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Abdullahi Maazu Gorzo from Kano State. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
This is an infrastructure-related motion, so we'll just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Water Resources. The seventh order of the day is a motion on dualization of Ijebu Ode, Ebuetun, Itokin, Abowa, Ikorodu Federal Road, standing in the name of Honorable Olufemi Adeleke Ogumbao. Honorable Adeleke is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Olufemi Adeleke Ogunbanwo. I represent the good people of Ijebu Ode, Odogbolu, Ijebu Northeast Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion for the dualization of Ijebu Ode, Ibefun, Itokin, Agbowa, Ikorodu Federal Road. The House notes that the Ijebu Ode, Ibefun, Itokin, Agbowa, Ikorodu Federal Road, connecting Ogun and Lagos State, serves various communities and cities, namely, Mr. Speaker, you permit to omit those names in order to save time, and is an alternative route for commuters coming from south. The House observes that the strategic road offers a viable alternative to the Lekki-Eti-Osa Epe Expressway, likely to increase vehicular movement due to the industrial activities in the Lekki Free Zone trade. Furthermore, the proposed Fourth Mainland Bridge and Lagos incorporate this road as a crucial feeder road, underscoring its significant role in the region's transportation infrastructure. Concerned that the road, built in 1975, has deteriorated due to lack of maintenance by the federal government, causing inconveniences and safety hazard for communities, commuters and businesses. Worry that the deplorable condition of the road have caused fatalities, property waste and millions of naira in damages, disrupting economic and social activities. Disturbed that Ogun and Lagos state governments have appealed to the federal government for road ownership, upgrading and expansion. But after assurances by the former Minister of Works on approval of funds by the Federal Executive Council for rehabilitation in April 2021, work is yet to commence. Mr. Speaker, the House resolved as follows: to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to rehabilitate, upgrade, and dualize the Ijebu-Ode, Ibefun, Itokin, Agbowa, Ikorodu Federal Road, and include the financial cost of the project in the 2024 budget estimates. The House further resolved to also urge the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to immediately commence the rehabilitation pending the upgrading and dualization of the road. And finally, Mr. Speaker, Honorable House, to mandate that the Committees of Works, Appropriation and Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I so moved.
Honorable Raji.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Wale Raji. I represent the good people of Ekpe Federal Constituency of Lagos State. I rise to second the motion on the need for the dualization and upgrade of Ibefun, Itoikin, Ekpe, Agbowa, Ikorodu Road by the federal government as moved by my colleague from Ijebu-Ode Federal Constituency. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
This is again an infrastructure-related motion, so we'll just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Works, Appropriation, and Federal Road Maintenance Agency. The eighth order of the day is a motion on the need for the rehabilitation and dualization of Magazine Junction, GRA, Onitsha, 33 Otuocha, Omasi, Adani, Anambra State border, Adani, Enugu State, Otupa, Benue State, standing in the name of Honorable Emeka Idu, GO, and two other honorable members. Honorable Idu is hereby invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I am Honorable Engineer Idu Emeka G. I represent Onitsha North and Onitsha South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the motion the need for rehabilitation and dualization of Magazine Junction, GRA, Onitsha, 33 Otuocha, Omasi, Adani, Anambra State border, and to Adani, Enugu State border, Otupa in Benue State. The House notes that the Magazine Junction, GRA, Onitsha, 33 Otuocha, Omasi, Adani, Anambra State border, Enugu State border to Otupa, Benue State is about 100 kilometers and a major federal road in Nigeria, crucial for social and economic development in Anambra State, Enugu to Benue State, in Kogi State. Also note that the road is segmented into two sections. The section is dualization from GRA Onitsha to Aguleri, Otuocha Junction, while the second section is single carriageway from Otuocha Aguleri Junction to Ada and Enugu State and Benue State. The House further knows that the road traverses a lot of agrarian communities constituting the food basket of Anambra State and its neighboring states, which requires the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to develop a master plan for the Omo Adan staple crop processing zone and access to the Anambra State oil and gas zone, which has abundant crude oil resources. Aware that the former President Shehu Shagari awarded and executed a road contract in the early 1980s, which led to the provision of various housing estates and educational institutions in Onitsha, Oyi, and Anambra East local governments. Also aware that the road is the nearest route to the Anambra State International Airport from the Onitsha end of Anambra State, and its dualization will significantly transform the ever-busy Enugu-Onitsha Expressway. Concerned that the magazine Jerry Onitsha 33, Otuacha, Masiadani, Otuba Road being a federal road, has been left to the over years with heavy vehicular traffic, criminal activities, thus constitute debt traps to Nigerians plying the road. This calls for urgent rehabilitation and dualization. Cognizant that the rehabilitation and dualization of this road will serve as a catalyst for economic growth, reduce negative environmental impact, and improve the overall standard of living of the host states and its environment. The House resolves.
Honorable Jimmy, I disturb you, Honorable Maki.
The House resolves to urge the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to provide palliative works on the dilapidated parts of the road. The House also urged the Federal Ministry of Works to include the reconstruction and dualization of Magazine GRA Onitsha, 33, Otuacha, Omase, Adani, to Otuba Road in the 2024 budget estimate. And finally, mandate the committees on FEMA and Works to ensure compliance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
My dear sister, Honorable Regina.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Mrs. Regina Akume, representing the wonderful people of Boko Taka constituency. I rise to motion moved by my colleague and also my deputy. I so moved.
Amendment? No amendment. I put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on works, and Federal Road Maintenance Agencies. Thank you. The eighth order of the day is a motion on the need for the rehabilitation. The ninth order of the day is a motion on the need to resume the abandoned Ambata Power Substation in Kano State, standing in the name of Honorable Ibrahim Hamisu. Honorable Hamisu is hereby invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Right Honorable Engineer Hamisu Ibrahim. I represent the good people of Dambata Makwada Federal Constituency from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to move a motion on the need to resume to complete the abandoned Dambata Power Substation in Kano State. Mr. Speaker, the House should note that the Dambata Power Substation has been awarded in the year 2009 to enhance the energy supply to Dambata industrial area, its environs, and also to boost the economic activities in the state. Mr. Speaker, the House should also note that the substation project will address epileptic power supply and enhance distribution in Kano metropolis. The House should be aware that the contractor, Electronic Nigeria Limited, handling the project since 2015, stopped the work on the project due to lack of funds from the federal government. It has been observed that the lack of funding of this project by Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has been a source of concern to the community and contractor handling the project. Mr. Speaker, the House resolved that 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Power through the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to ensure the provision of funds for the completion of Dambata Power Substation in 2024 budget estimate. And 2. To mandate the Committees of Power and Appropriation to ensure implementation. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you very much.
Honorable Talba.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Engineer Bukar Talba, member representing Marte Monguno Ganze of Borno State. I'm here to second the motion of, by honorable colleagues, Honorable Ibrahim Habshimu, on the need to resume the abandoned Dambata Power Substation in Kano. We have to move the motion.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Power and Appropriations. The 10th order of the day is a motion on the need to address the challenges of Roba Research Institute of Nigeria and its substations, including the Roba Research Institute substation Akwete, standing in the name of Honorable Chris Nkota. Honorable Nkota is hereby invited to move the motion. Please, he should always be putting his new designation, because that one is more important. The Chairman Committee on Amendment. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Chris Nkwanta, and I represent the good people of Okwa East and West Federal Constituency in Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the need to address the challenges of the Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria and its substations, including the Rubber Research Institute substation in Akwete. The House notes that the Rubber Research Institute of Nigeria substation Akwete was established in 1960 under the control of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Development. Following the promulgation of Decree number 25 of 1971, it extends the Institute mandate to rubber farmers in Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Enugu, Bayelsa, Cross River, Ebonyi, Rivers, and Imo states, respectively. The Institute has significantly contributed to the development of rubber as a major cash crop and a source of foreign exchange for Nigeria. The House is aware that the Rubber Research Institute is an investment with economic potential, including export production, job creation, research, high-yield rubber varieties, processing technologies, rubber-based agroforestry, capacity building, and market research and policy recommendations. The House is also aware that the Rubber Research Institute and its substations have become a hub for illicit activities due to inadequate rubber protection, human resource shortages, insufficient technology, and insufficient electricity supply. The House is further aware that according to the report by the National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria's rubber production decreased from 155,000 metric tons in 2010 to 88,000 metric tons in 2020, with export dropping from $217 million to $67 million, coupled with competition from other countries and global price fluctuations that impact competitiveness in the international market. The House is concerned that this situation is not only detrimental to the Rubber Research Institute, but also to millions of Nigerians relying on rubber for income and employment. It undermines the diversification of the economy and the attainment of food security and self-reliance. The House therefore resolves to urge the federal government to formulate and implement a policy on rubber development that will provide a conducive environment for research, production, processing, and marketing of natural rubber in Nigeria. Number two, the House urged the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to make provision in 2024 budget estimates to address the problems of the Rubber Research Institute, support rubber smallholder farmers with improved planting materials, input, credit, extension services, infrastructure, and market access. Further urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in collaboration with Customs to enforce compliance with natural rubber quality standards before export. Again, urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture to collaborate with other natural rubber producing countries in Africa and Asia to promote regional cooperation and trade in natural rubber. Finally, the House mandates the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions to ensure compliance and report within 4 weeks for further legislative action. I so move. Thank you, Mr.
Amendment?
Speaker.
When the chairman committee on amendment is proposing, you want to amend his Kai. That is a sign of disrespect. Eh? Well, if you insist, I will have no option, but I'm sure at the end of the day, he will not forgive you. So any amendment? Seconder. Okay, I would want to recognize Honorable Maureen to please second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Gwacha Maureen Chinwe. I represent the good people of Oyi Ayamelu Federal Constituency from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by my brother, Honorable Kwanta. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The chairman committee on amendment said he will not recognize anyone for any amendment on this matter. Eh? The 11th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate. Eh? I thought we already asked Maureen to second, and so, okay, the committee, this motion is referred to the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions. Thank you. The 11th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the career stagnation caused by discrimination between higher national diploma and bachelor degree holders in the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, standing in the name of Honorable Ime Basi Okon. Honorable Okon is hereby invited to move the motion. Honorable Okon, around?
Yes, Mr.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Coming under Order 8, Rule 8 of our rules, I rise to move a motion on the need to investigate the career stagnation
caused by discrimination between higher national diploma and bachelor degree holders in the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. The House notes the persistent discrimination between polytechnics and university certificate holders in the civil service with regards to employment and promotion with higher national diploma holders, HND, limited to salary grade level 14, and degree holders reaching grade level 17.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Leader, what's the point of order?
Mr. Speaker, the mover of the motion came under order 8, but it's a motion on notice already. So it doesn't need to go back to the 8. So it should be properly guided, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, I hope you are properly guided. Since you come under notice, you don't need to cite any relevant rule. You are already on notice. So please, next time, you don't need to actually cite any, unless if it is matter of urgent public importance. Okay? Please continue.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I did say, I'll start over again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I go to paragraph 2. The House also notes that in terms of academic discipline, the HND holders outperform BSD holders in practical aspects, as 70% of learning in polytechnics is practical, aiming to equip graduates with technical knowledge for self-reliance. The House observes that in developed nations, HND and degree holders are employed at the same grade level, prioritizing competence and cognate experience, unlike Nigeria's emphasis on status and paper qualifications. Furthermore, the United Kingdom Polytechnic system has transitioned into universities as degree awarding institutions, but the Nigerian education system still hinders the advancement and self-reliance of polytechnic education. The House is aware that the National Assembly recently passed a bill to eliminate the discrimination and disparities between the two certificates. The legislation sought to resolve the dichotomy controversy and promote Nigeria's technological advancement by encouraging many qualified students to pursue polytechnics and technology-based studies. Also aware that in 2006, President Obasanjo reversed a discriminatory policy limiting HND holders from rising above grade level 14 in public service, directing the former Chief of Staff and Head of Service to prepare a position paper. Also under President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, the Federal Executive Council removed the salary ceiling for HND holders. President Muhammadu Buhari criticized the disparity, leading to a circular in 2018, stating that HND holders will enjoy salary grade level 08 in the civil service. Also aware that a story further observes, Mr. Speaker, that the Civil Defense, Fire, Immigration and Prisons Board approved the abolition of the bachelor's degree and HND distinction in Ministry of Interior Services, with Lieutenant General Abdul Rahman Dambuzau directing the implementation and rank harmonization. Concerned that despite policy directives and approvals, discrimination against HND holders persists in private and public agencies, particularly in paramilitary agencies, where the dichotomy was abolished in 2016 due to sanctions of non-compliance. Worried that the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has experienced career stagnation among 2012 HND intakes, with BSc colleagues being promoted multiple times
to superintendent of course, a situation that goes against civil service regulations and creates bad blood among the rank and file of the corps. I learned that junior officers with school certificates in 2012 who later earned the part-time BSc degree were promoted to senior ranks and assistant superintendent of course, leading to a decrease in morale and motivation among their HND counterparts. Also, from 2012 to 2022, NSCDC recruits with HND failed to be promoted 4 times, while their BSc counterparts were promoted twice. This discrimination led to HND intakes resolving not to sit for future examinations for future promotions, as it has become futile. Disturbed by the discrimination against polytechnic graduates, hinders technology-driven development, leading to poor living standards, negative balance sheets, and low per capita income. The House resolved to, 1, urge the head of service to comply with all existing circulars abrogating the dichotomy between HND and BSc in the civil service. 2, also urge the Commandant General of the Nigeria Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps to promote all qualified personnel and pay the arrears of emoluments they might have lost as a result of the failure of the NSCDC to promote them as at when due. And 3, to mandate the Committees on Public Service Matters and Interior to investigate the failure to promote certain officers despite writing and passing their promotional examinations on 4 different occasions, and invite the Commandant General of the NSCDC to explain this failure to comply with the board and ministry's approval on the abolition of the HND and BSc dichotomy like its counterparts under the Nigeria Civil Score Fire, Immigration, and Prisons Board. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Fatuma Talba, or is it amendment that, amendment? Okay, when you make your amendment, Fatuma Talba, I've not heard her voice for quite some time, so I would want her to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm Honorable Dr. Wale Ahmed. I represent both the good and the good people of Agege local government. Mr. Speaker, Agege Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Lagos State. Okay, this is second. Okay. Okay, you second. Let us second.
You make, please, before you second, I think Professor Nanchi is going to make some observations concerning the motion, and then we'll refer back to you. Prof, please go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Professor Paul Sunday Namchi. I represent the people of Enugu East and Issues of Federal Constituency. I rise to make some notes.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the motion has not been seconded.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Shall I second? Okay. In the motion just finished now, the second paragraph, which says, also notes that in terms of academic discipline, the HND holders outperform BSc's holders in practical aspects, as 70% of learning in polytechnics is practical, aiming to equip graduates with technical knowledge for self-reliance. Mr. Speaker, I move that this aspect be expunged because it doesn't have any proof of such assertion. Meanwhile, I don't think it is. Okay, okay, okay. So that during that dispute should be, during the amendment, this paragraph should be expunged from this, since it doesn't have any relevance to what he's saying or any practical things to prove what he's saying. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to this amendment? Any seconder?
Not amendment.
It's not an amendment?
Your Excellency.
That's what I'm saying.
Your Excellency, we cannot expunge, according to him, letters in the body of the presentation of a motion. If it was one of the prayers in the body among the prayers of the motion, we can say under amendment expunge these or add that. So I would have thought that in the course of his debate, contribution to this conversation, he can lead a debate on that issue, on the disparity as per the outcome of the performance of both HND and BSc holder. But to expunge it from the body of the motion, I don't think it is within our legislative practice to do so. So I wish that he will retrace his steps by not asking the House to go to expunging what have been printed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think we had an instance like this about 2 weeks ago. I remember specifically a motion that was moved by Honorable Sadu Soli, where a certain paragraph in the body of the motion was found to be offensive, and we moved that it should be deleted from the body of the motion, not on the prayers. So I do not know. I think it is something that we need to really debate on, whether our jurisdiction extends beyond prayers to even making corrections on the body of the motions.
You are so obliged, Mr. Speaker. You are so obliged. You are so I remember that.
Thank you.
You are so obliged.
Yes, so unless, if we have any objection, I would want the mover to please respond to this particular observation made by Professor Paul, if he feels that it is in order to rephrase that particular sentence, we can go ahead and do so. Who is the mover, please? Did you note where he is making his observation?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. He's talking about paragraph 2 of the motion, contending that there is nothing to confirm the assertion here. Mr. Speaker, my position is that we all know that polytechnics are practical based. The way education in the polytechnic is addressed is purely for practicals as against the universities. And that is the point that we are trying to make here. That the polytechnics are more practically based than the university education. And I still stand by that side.
So you are not in agreement with the observation of Professor Nachi, right?
I am not, sir.
Okay, I think, Leader, you wanted to contribute on this. What is your opinion as to the two positions?
Mr. Speaker, I recognize the right of the mover to his own opinion. But when you insert a categorical statement requiring a comparison between two degrees from different institutions, you have to back it up with data. I believe that if he could have stated the point that HND holders are known to have more practical experience because of their exposure to technical opportunities, no problem. But to go to the extent of saying they are superior, it depends on the university. We know some polytechnics today, they don't have one book in the library, they don't have a laboratory, but they are polytechnics, particularly some wretched private ones that I know. So we should be careful as legislators. It's not an offensive statement as such, but I think it creates a basis to even distract from support from those who are BSc holders. Because before your argument begins, You already saying the BSc holders are inferior to HND holders.
So you are in support of this amendment?
Leave BSc out. Take the quality of HND. No argument there.
Honorable Jha, do you have a contrary opinion?
No, sir. I don't think it even requires a vote because what he did was not a motion but an observation that that particular paragraph sounds somehow offensive to bearers of, bearers of bachelor's degrees. But it's just an observation. He is entitled to his own opinion, and the mover of the motion is equally entitled to his own opinion. So the most important thing is the chair must have observed the opinion and will forge further, will go further.
I think, honorable colleagues, okay, let me allow leader to say one or two, we just round up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda, I represent Obiabo Federal Constituency. I speak for Ikwere people. I'm from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, I have looked at the paragraph 2. Yes, we can expunge the body of a motion if it offends our rules, particularly Order 9. An example is if you say a member is stupid in the body of your motion, it's offensive against the rule, and so we cannot expunge. But paragraph 2 is more of an opinion by the mover of this motion that HND holders are better in practical aspects than BSc holders. I'm not a HND holder, but I even think that that opinion is just factual. HND is more of a practical study. And so if you say somebody with HND is better in practical than somebody with BSc, it's not offensive at all. Conversely, those with BSc are better in theoretical knowledge than those with HND. It's like saying that a mechanic is more knowledgeable in mechanical works in vehicle than an electrician who is more knowledgeable in electrical works. So I don't think it's offensive. It's not something for us to bother ourselves over. That's my position.
I agree with you totally, leader, and I don't think if we need to overheat this debate. It was just an observation he made, and just wanted to hear the position of the mover as to whether he wants to rephrase, since it is within the ambit of his right to either take or leave, since he has maintained that he wants it to be as it is. I think we can go ahead and put the question. Honorable Fatuma, you have been recognized to second this motion, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm happy you realize that for a long time you have not heard from me. That's encouraging. Thank you very much. I'm Honorable Fatima Talba. I'm from Yobe State. I represent Nigeria Potuskum. I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague. Because I'm also a victim, I support this motion seriously, and I urge Nigerians to know that we are over 200 million. This discrimination will not take us anywhere. I support this motion as moved by my colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Amendment.
Those against should say nay.
Amendment.
Amendment?
Yes, sir.
I have not hit the gavel yet.
Amendment, sir.
Amendment.
Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we have voted.
Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Dr.
But I didn't hit.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to amend the prayer.
Which prayer?
The three prayers, so that they can go and there will be a single prayer. I'm saying this because I have served on the visitation panels of Architects Registration Council for 9 years when I was a council member. I have been to Polytechnic.
Please go ahead and amend the prayer, not to discuss about the prayer.
Okay. And the prayer should be to mandate the House Committee on Public Service Matters to investigate the dichotomy between HND and BSc in the Federal Civil Service and report to the House within 4 weeks. This is because, like in the architectural profession, even if you have the HND,
Honorable, you are just amending the prayer, and I think you have stated your position. So any seconder to this amendment? This amendment moved. Any seconder to it? Honorable Dixon.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Dixon Taki OON. I represent Makodi Guma Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I rise to second the amendment as heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. I will put the question again. Those in support of this motion, this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The nays have it. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Public Service Matters and Interior. The 12th order of the day is a motion calling on the Niger Delta Development Commission to complete Specialist Hospital Ecom local government area of Cross River State, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Abang. Honorable Abang is hereby invited to move the motion. Honorable Abang.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, my name is Victor Abang. I represent the people of Ikom and Boki in Cross River State. This motion is a call on the Niger Delta Development Commission to complete Specialist Hospital Ikom local government area of Cross River State. The House notes that the Federal Executive Council approved a 1.2 billion project for the construction of a specialist hospital in Cross River State in 2012. But 9 years later, the deteriorating building remains uncommissioned. Also notes that the Niger Delta Development Commission in 2012-2013 awarded the contract for the construction of the specialist hospital to Messrs. Amos Strait Engineering Limited to the sum of 1,240,847,450 naira 28 kobo. Aware that the hospital was designed to serve as a specialist hospital to cater for the health needs of the communities in Cross River and neighboring states. Also aware that the one-story building with a total floor area of 7,052 square meters was to be constructed and completed approximately within 26 months in 2015. And the place is now in a terrible state, denying the people essential medical services. Concerned that the contractor's failure to complete the project has caused hardship for members of the communities, leaving them vulnerable to private hospitals and clinic owners. Worried that since the abandonment of work in 2015, the site has become farmland with grass overtaking the proposed specialist hospital, thereby causing frustration among residents due to inaccessible quality healthcare services. Also worried about the high cost of construction materials in the market is another factor militating against the completion of the specialist hospital. The prayers are resolved to urge the Niger Delta Development Commission to carry out a holistic assessment of the project and ascertain the challenges militating against the completion of the project, and mandate the committees on Niger Delta Development Commission, Niger Delta Ministry, and legislative compliance to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ibori, can you second for obvious reasons?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Eriatake Ibori Swenu, member representing the great people of Ethiopia Federal Constituency. I rise in my place this afternoon to second the motion is moved by our dear colleague. I beg to second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on Niger Delta Development Commission and Niger Delta Ministry and Legislative Compliance. The 13th order of the day is a motion on rehabilitation of Ilorin of Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos Railway Line, standing in the name of Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya. Honorable Shagaya is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Mukhtar Tolani Shagaya. I represent Nigerians, starting from Ilorin West, Asa Federal Constituency of Kwara State, the state of harmony. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to move a motion on the rehabilitation of the Ilorin Ofa, Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos rail line. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the Ilorin Ofa, Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos rail line is one of the oldest rail lines in Nigeria, established in 1912 by the British colonial government. The House also notes that the railway serves as a link to several states which include Kwara, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos states. The House is aware that the railway networks are globally recognized as a safe and reliable transportation method, facilitating the conveyance of goods, cargo, and raw materials. The House is also aware that efficient rail transport connects remote areas with urban centers, facilitates trade, generates economic growth, and creates jobs for the population. The House is concerned that despite the huge population and the economic activities in Ilorin and its environs, the Ilorin of Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos rail line is currently not functional. The House is also concerned over the inadequate management and monitoring of the Nigerian Railway Corporation's railway infrastructure, as well as the high number of road accidents of about 13,656, resulting in 6,456 fatalities in 2022 alone, as reported by the Federal Road Safety Corps. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House believes that rail is a cheaper and safer means of transportation, and rehabilitating the Ilorin of Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos rail line will not only reduce the fatality rate, but also enhance the commercial activities in the areas. The House is cognizant that rehabilitating the rail lines will alleviate the exorbitant costs of transportation for commuters in various states, which will invariably reduce the effects of the fuel subsidy removal on travelers, traders, farmers, and artisans. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House resolves to, 1, urge the Federal Ministry of Transportation to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Finance to make adequate budgetary provisions for the rehabilitation of the Ilorin of Oshobo, Ibadan, Abeokuta, Lagos rail lines in the 2024 budget estimates. Secondly, mandate the Committee on Land Transport to invite the Nigerian Rail Corporation's Management Board to address the deplorable state of Nigeria's railway infrastructure and inadequate management processes, and also mandate the Committees of Land Transport and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance. Honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Dear sister from Rivers, please second. I don't want to offend my leader, the minority leader, for not recognizing you.
Good afternoon, sir, Mr. Speaker. I'm Blessed Chigeru Amade, representing Port Harcourt Federal Constituency 2, River State, and Ikwere Woman. I hereby second the motion ably moved by my colleague.
Those in support
I
of
so
this motion
second.
should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on land transport and legislative compliance. The 14th order of the day is a motion on the need to create awareness programs for persons with disability, standing in the name of Honorable Bashiru Daudu. Honorable Daudu is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Dr. Bashiru Dawood. I represent Oshodi Isolo, Constituency 1, colleagues, and from Lagos State. I rise today to raise this very important motion on the need to create awareness programs for persons with disability. The House notes that the WHO World Health Organization and World Bank report that Nigeria has an estimated 30 million persons with disabilities. Also notes that countries which promote economic, political, social, and cultural aspirations without discrimination have fully implemented disability rights, including Nigeria, as contained in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability 2007, which Nigeria is a signatory. Aware that the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 was signed into law to ensure full participation and inclusion of people living with disabilities in all sectors of the Nigerian economy. Worried that the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, tasked with promoting and educating the public about the rights and inclusion of persons with disabilities, is ineffective. Further worried that 23 states of the Federation are yet to domesticate the laws in their states, and further worried that discrimination, stigmatization, and non-inclusion continue both in the private and public sectors. Aware that about 15% of the country's 250 million population, persons living with disabilities constitute one of the marginalized groups within Nigerian society, contrary to Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. The House resolves to, 1, urge the Federal Minister of Information and National Orientation and religious organizations to sensitize the public about the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Act 2018. 2, also urge states of the Federation of Nigeria to domesticate the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability law in their states. 3, mandate the Committee on Disabilities to ensure compliance. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I so move.
Yes, Honorable. Yes. No? Honorable Committee on Monitoring.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Dr.
Doctor, no you, I recognize the Chair Committee on Monitoring of Standing Committees of the big man.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Obi Agocha, representing the great people of Iguano, Umuahia North, Umuahia South of Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to second the motion ably moved by my brother, Honorable Dauda, and so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Amendment.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Disabilities. The 15th order of the day is consideration of report of the ad hoc committee on AIDS, loans, and debt management on the request for approval of additional financing of the National Social Safety Net Program scaled up by the National Assembly Honorable members recall that the report was made on Tuesday, 31st October 2023. Honorable Julius Hovere will move for its consideration.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihanvere, ON, DSSRS. Mr. Speaker, I seek your leave and that of the House to step down this report at the moment for further consultations for a more comprehensive presentation. I so plead, Mr. Speaker.
Consideration is stepped down by the leave of the House, but the Minority Leader Ekasakon.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the House Leader, so second.
Those in support should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is stepped down by the leave of the House. Leader, can you move that the House resolve through the Committee of the Whole?
Mr. Speaker, I stand to move that the House do resolve it to Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Minority Leader?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole. I so second.
Those in support should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House has resolved to the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Speaker,
Please, Leader, move that we rescind that decision and go back to plenary to have motion on the consideration of the business of the day, 16, 17, 18, and 19 bills, so that we'll come back to consideration and tidy it up in line with our rules. So rescind it so that we'll go back and then we'll call for it again.
Mr. Chairman, following the observation of an omission in the procedure, I rise to move that we rescind our earlier decision to resolve it to Committee of the Whole and back to plenary so we can correct the observed bearers. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Any seconder from the minority leader?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to second the motion that we set aside our rules to rescind our decision, that we go back to plenary. I so second.
Those in support of this say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House reverts back to plenary to take motion on the consideration of 16, 17, 18, and 19. Leader, please move that the House go into committee of the whole to consider 17, Bill 17, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So you move for the consideration of 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihanvere, Onwa Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do consider for consideration in the Committee of the Whole a bill for an act to amend the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria Act, Cap 826, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and for related matters, HB 712, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center of Delta State, and for related matters, HB 222.
Please, leader, let me announce this. We are going to inspect the chamber we are going into, and we have only a few minutes to do this consideration, and the speaker will lead us to go and inspect the chamber we are moving into, our permanent side. So I urge you to be patient for us to just run through this and go for the inspection. Leader, go ahead.
A bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Business Administration of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility for advancing the study, training, and determining the standards of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become registered members of the Institute and for related matters, HB 140, and a bill for an act to establish Nigerian Council for Psychologists, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of psychologist profession, and for related matters, HB 610. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider HB 712, HB 222, HB 140, and HB 610. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader, move that we go into Committee of Whole to consider HB 712, HB 222, HB 140, and HB 610. Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihanvere, Onwa Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the committee do dissolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the 4 bills efficiently and eloquently outlined by the Speaker. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in support that we go into the Committee of the Whole to consider this number of bills as listed by the Speaker and as listed by the Leader of the House and seconded by the Minority Leader say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House do move to Committee of the Whole to consider this number of bills. The first bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria Act, Cap 826, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill. Leader, make it as brief as possible, please.
Mr. Chairman, I think this bill is all about how to improve the profession of accounting in Nigeria, to provide for efficient and effective management of the profession, to improve and strengthen the processes of recruitment, training, monitoring, and sanctions against erring members. It is also designed to ensure that they protect the integrity of the association so that quacks can be effectively removed and we can begin to create a body that will provide the kind of accounting services we require in this country. As you know, Mr. Chairman, there's been a lot of challenges confronting the practice and profession in the country, and I think this is a timely bill to begin to clean off the cobwebs and let us know who are qualified, registered, performing accountants and those that are pretending to the truth. I plead to stop there, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. This is a very short one. It's 15 clauses. And the question is that these clauses 1 to 15 be made part of the bill. So we'll go clause by clause. Clause 1, clause 2, 2 to 10, 10 to 15, explanatory memorandum, long title, honorable colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Business Administration of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility for advancing the study, training, and determining the standard of knowledge and skills. Honorable colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act to establish Federal Medical Center of Wayne, Delta State, and for related matters, HB 222. Leader, please. Synopsis of the bill. 1 minute, if you can.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is simply to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act just to include the Federal Medical Center of is it not in Alaja? Delta State, as required by our procedure here. We don't bring it in as a fresh bill. We amend the existing act in order to accommodate new centers. It is not much more than that.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah? So the question is that these clauses become part of the act, be made part of the bill. Clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, explanatory memorandum, long title, The third bill to be considered is for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Business Administration of Nigeria is charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and determining the standard of knowledge and skill to be attained by persons seeking to become registered members of the institute and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill. Leader, please. 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, this is a timely bill to regulate the Institute of Business Administration in Nigeria and provide it with a more efficient, effective structure to deliver on its mandate. Basically, Mr. Chairman, to help the members build knowledge and skill so they can deliver better on the profession, to maintain a register of its members so we know exactly who is a business administrator and who is parading the corridors illegally, and to provide other services that will uplift the practice of business administration in Nigeria to both the public and the private sectors. It's a timely bill. I urge my colleagues to support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, the leader of the House. The question is that clauses 1 to 27 be made part of the bill. So we'll go clause 1, 2 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 27, explanatory memorandum, schedule, long title, by the time you add a citation, it will be up to that 27. Honorable colleagues, the fourth bill to be considered is for an act to establish Nigerian Council for Psychologists charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and practice of psychology profession and for related matters. I invite the leader again to give the synopsis of the bill. Leader, please. You've been good with your one minute. You've been doing well with your 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This is a very timely bill. Nigeria needs this. We are short of psychologists, and there are too many fake psychologists around in the system. This bill will try to set up a structure that will not only provide professional skills, training, maintenance of the register, but promote professionalism among
Honorable Jobe.
It is supposed to also promote the higher standard of competence and practice, and I think this will be to the good of all Nigerians. In other climes, Mr. Chairman, this profession is highly rated and regarded, but in Nigeria we don't even know if it exists. So approval of this bill to create the Nigerian Council for Psychologists would create a platform that will streamline that profession, give it all the strength it needs, give it the mandate to recruit, train, register, and promote the profession to benefit
Good one.
all Nigerians. Thank you, sir.
Good synopsis, the leader. So the question is that the 18 clauses stand part of the bill, and we'll go clause 1, clause 2, clause 3 to 10, 10 to 18, explanatory memorandum, long title, carried. Leader, please move that the House refers to plenary to report progress.
Mr. Chairman, having exhausted all the necessary reports, I move that the House do is resolved into plenary, reverse to plenary, and for the chairman to give report to the committee, to the House. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise to second the motion as moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Those in support that the House refer to plenary to report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby reverts back to plenary to report progress. Honorable colleagues, the Housing Committee of the Whole considered a report on the bill for an act to amend the Association of Nigerian Accountants of Nigerian Act, Cap 826, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 15, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill.
Honorable Zanibala.
Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on the bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center of Wuhan, Delta State, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 3, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Business Administration of Nigeria, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, training, and determining the standard of knowledge and skills to be attained by persons seeking to become registered members of the Institute, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 27, schedules, explanatory memorandum, and the long title. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered a report on the bill for an act to establish Nigerian Council for Psychologists, charged with the responsibility of advancing the study, advancing training, and the practice of psychologists' profession, and for related matters, and approve clauses 1 to 18, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Leader, please move that the House do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to move that the House, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as ably presented. I so move.
Minority Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the House do adopt the report of the whole. I so second.
Those in support that the House do accept the recommendations of the Committee of the Whole as a working document of the House, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The document is hereby, recommendations, they are hereby accepted and adopted as a working instrument of the House. Leader, please move for adjournment of this House. But before that, I want to thank you for waiting till this time. It shows dedication. We really appreciate your dedication towards this call by Nigerians for you to serve. Kindly join us after now to inspect the chamber you are going to be enjoying any moment from now. Leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, Julius Honvere, Owan Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that the House do adjourn plenary to tomorrow, same venue, same time, 11 a.m. I so move.
Before I ask for the second of this particular motion for adjournment, see, tomorrow there is a card, a bank card that just got dropped by Baywater. I will not mention the full name on the card. I'll just mention Baywater. When you come, meet the sergeant at arm, give the remainder of the name, they will give you the card. Thank you. It's Baywater plus other names, so if you come and complete it, they will give it to you. Please, Minority Leader, move. Second, the move for adjournment, please.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn to tomorrow. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House is hereby adjourned till tomorrow, same time, same place.